Hey, shalom, shalom. Start off by giving all praises
unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachakwadash.
I want to say double honors to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessed salutations to you brothers out there teaching and doing truth and sincerity. It's Rob Mott from the Nebraska camp, GMS, and he pushed to the mark. I got all the brothers with me today, man. We doing a sit down. Internet's down due to weather. You know, plan was to do a live, but here we are, so we're gonna make it work. But yeah, man, I wanted to get into an article going into as well as Ezekiel chapter 38, man. So let's get into Ezekiel chapter 38 first, and then I'll let y'all brothers break it down since y'all went over it just recently. You hear something, you heard? So let's go into Ezekiel 38 by Shah.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him.
Yeah, Gog is today's the land of Magog. As it says, the land of Magog is that location. Okay.
And say, Thus said the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords.
Yeah, and that the hook is going back to that Soviet mindset, okay? Because Russia was broken apart, I believe, what is that, after World War II, or was it pretty much in the European Union, NATO, the beast, all that was a simultaneous event. You got...
Yeah. The Cold War was right after the World War II, and then Russia split apart in the very early 90s with the coming down of the Berlin Wall and really the breakup of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, because the Cold War, or the what's that? I was just talking about it.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, the Cuban Missile Crisis, but not that. But there was a something that was signed a year after that. The IMF.
IMF, yeah.
Yeah. So let's get that. The IMF. I think the Cuban Missile Crisis was in the '60s or something like that, and then the IMF was signed a year later. Okay.
Get the article right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Or just get what the IMF is,
okay,
and when it was enacted, what it was about.
It says Friday marks 5 years since the termination of the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty.
Yeah.
Signed.
So let's get the Inter-Range Missile Nuclear Forces Treaty.
This is the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. It was an arms control treaty between the United States and the Soviet Union and its successor state, the Russian Federation.
Yeah, so this whole time has always been in talks, but pretty much it was like a bunch of events, but the Bay of Pigs was the catalyst, because that's when it was almost at its brink that but the Lord ceased it to happen. Because even when you go into the situation, one of the Russian Marines submarines, it was hit with like a what you call those, a deep charge or something like that, pretty much like a warning shot, and the submarine thought they was under attack, and they thought the war had started, and two of the generals said launched a nuclear missile, and then one of them didn't, so that shows how the Spirit of the Lord was working. And then end up John F. Kennedy ended up making this deal, which happened a year later after the Bay of Pigs. Okay, which pretty much the U.S. was infiltrating Cuba, because Russia and Cuba had ties, and I believe they still do. You know, not too sure about it, so don't quote me on it. But yeah, it was a lot going on with those missiles, and Russia had missiles in Cuba, and as well as submarines around. Okay.
Grab this precept real quick.
Yeah, Bible shot.
This is Habakkuk 2 and 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry."
Yeah, and that time wasn't appointed yet, because you got the the prophecies got to come to pass. The MOTB through the which is the mark of the beast. You got the famine. You got concentration camps. You have a series of things that need to come to pass. Okay, all this is going to be damn near simultaneous. Okay, but the nuclear missiles is the end. They ain't no like the missiles landed then the MOTB. Nah, man. So you could kind of put two and two together on which one got to come first.
Okay.
So that's why it's at a appointed time. But at the same time, it ain't gonna hold back. It shall speak and not lie. For all these people thinking, everybody should come in. America ain't gonna be destroyed. No, Babylon is gonna be destroyed via thermonuclear missiles, because it is the daughter of Babylon. Okay, the Bible speaks of. All right.
It says that treaty was signed in 1987.
Yep.
It says U.S. President Ronald Reagan and Soviet General Secretary Mikhail Gorbachev signed the treaty on December 8, 1987. The U.S. Senate approved the treaty May 27th of 88. Reagan and Gorbachev ratified it on June 1st of 88. The INF Treaty banned all of the two nations' nuclear and conventional ground launch ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and missile launchers with ranges of 500 to 1,000 kilometers and 1,000 to 5,500 kilometers.
Yeah,
so that's short and intermediate.
So in essence, they pretty much stopped the ability for a quick attack. They took, in America, through their unilateral disarmament, pretty much it was a one-sided deal where Russia had to break all their shit down, all their weapons down, but the U.S. didn't have to break as much down of theirs. That's why they had the missiles, but they making sure everybody else don't have theirs. But they're pretty much breaking down the ability to have missile silos and in-ground missiles and short-range missiles, really intercontinental ballistic missiles, because anything past the 50, the 500, was it 500 kilometers or something like that?
500 to 1,000.
Yeah, like pretty much they trying to make sure you can't reach America from Russia. They're trying to make sure that there's a certain window, and you got to think about it. Those silos is when you're talking about preparing to shoot a missile, and you only could do it through a plane or a submarine. You're gonna have to travel in water overseas and get over to America, or you have to fly over there. Both can be stopped in the midst of that. But when you just let that missile off in the atmosphere, it's a wrap.
Yeah, if it's short to intermediate range, there's no defense for that. It's like being in range of somebody's punch. You're gonna get hit.
Yeah. Yeah, but if I got you in handcuffs,
exactly.
It just take you long. You could be in range, but I gotta give you the key. You gotta approve of it.
Yeah.
So that's what they was pretty much doing is they're trying to have them with a hand tied behind their back. So let's get back to Ezekiel 38, and we'll get into the article, which is an RT News article. I also wanted to get into something else before we get back into this Ezekiel 38, there was a site that I was dealing with. Let me see if it'll pull up. It's this article or this discussion in its actuality came out in 2017. Okay. There's a statement. I'm gonna read a couple paragraphs, and Salakia, I'll name the site in the article. It's a meeting of the Valdai International Discussion Club, which happened in October 19, 2017. Okay. There's a lot of statements that was made, but Vladimir Putin got on that stage and went ham on the ass, man. You know, see here, one of the statements that made me look it up because the unilateral disarmament led me to here. It says, however, the U.S. still has both airborne and sea-based missiles. In fact, this was unilateral armament for the Soviet side as well. But now we have both airborne and sea-based missiles. You can see how effective the kilobar missiles are from the Mediterranean Sea, from the Caspian Sea, from the air, or from submarines, wherever you wish. So they pretty much say, hey man, y'all, like, Russia's at the point that saying, America, y'all not playing fair. Because when we get into the article, they're gonna tell you that Russia took that one-sided deal in hopes that pretty much they try to take the low. So that in hopes that America say, okay, well, we was tripping, let's stop doing it too. But America didn't. They got more evil and more tyrannical with their demands, okay? And so getting to this, there's a couple sections within this article. I'm gonna read a couple of them. And these are just statements. These pretty much is everybody speaking. India was there, and I think India was there. I know the Arabs was there. There was a United Arab Emirates. They was there. Russia was there. NATO and the EU was there. You know, and they always having a discussion. And even Putin said, you know, we need to stop having these enclosed discussions, and they need to be open to all the nations. You know what I'm saying? Because Esau is pretty much trying to have these behind closed doors discussion about world events.
Yeah.
You know,
that affects everybody.
That affects everybody, yeah. You know, so one paragraph says, or one statement said, I was told just a few hours ago that the U.S. president said something on social media about Russia-U.S. cooperation in the important area of nuclear cooperation. True. This is the most important sphere of interaction between Russia and the United States. Bearing in mind that Russia and the United States bear a special responsibility to the world as the two largest nuclear powers. Okay? This is a fact. This is getting out, right? There's another statement. They tell you about the amount of missiles and everything, like, you know, America's specialists from 10 different U.S. organizations who are entitled to conduct additional inspections. Matter of fact, I read that because they was fucking over Russia, man. It said the projects under the first agreement focus on upgrading control systems, accounting, and physical protection of nuclear materials, dismantling and scrapping submarines and radioisotope thermoelectric generators. The Americans have made and please pay attention here, this is not secret information. This is Putin speaking. Simply few are aware of it. 620 verification visits to Russia to check our compliance with the agreement. That's under the first agreement. That ain't got nothing to do with the other three, okay, because there were stages of it. It says they visited the holiest of holies of the Russian nuclear weapons complex, namely the enterprise engaged in developing nuclear warheads and ammunition and weapons grade, plutonium and uranium. The United States gained access to all top secret facilities in Russia. Also, the agreement was almost unilateral in nature. Under the second agreement, the Americans have made 170 more visits to our enrichment plants, touring their most restricted areas, such as mixing units and storage facilities. The world's most powerful nuclear enrichment plant, the Urals electrochemical combine, even had a permanent American observation post. Permanent jobs were created directly at the workshops of this combine, where the American specialists went to work every day. The rooms they were sitting in at these top secret Russian facilities had American flags, as is always the case, right? In addition, a list was drawn up of 100 American specialists from 10 different U.S. organizations who were entitled to conduct additional inspections at any time without any warning. All this lasted for 10 years under this agreement. 500 tons of weapons grade uranium were removed from military circulation in Russia, which is equivalent to about 20,000 nuclear warheads. Okay. Continuing on, it says that HEU-LEU program has become one of the most effective measures of true disarmament in the history of mankind. I say this with full confidence. Each step on the Russian, and this is Putin speaking still, each step on the Russian side was closely monitored by American specialists at a time when the United States limited itself to much more modest restrictions of its nuclear arsenal, and did so on a purely goodwill basis. Our specialists also visit enterprises of U.S. nuclear arms complex, but only at their invitation and under conditions set by the U.S. side. So pretty much you get to go over here. You only could come for 20 minutes or something like that. They set regulations, but they set up a station in Russia's top secret area.
Flags and shit.
You're putting your flag up. You pretty much you swinging your sword all through they shit. You know, that's a step of dominance. And then on top of that, I don't know if it's in the article we're going to read, but another article was saying that when Russia set up a plant to enrich uranium, to build energy, America turned around and set up a plant right after that. They spent $4.68 or something like that $billion to build this. That was the plan. They turned around and actually spent $8 billion and got up to 70% of the construction done and then stopped. And then Russia was like, well, what happened? Where's the uranium at? Where's it? I don't know. That was their story. It's like, nah, hell no, bro. You're not going to spend $8 billion, stop 70% of the way, and say, you know what, never mind, I was bugging. That was a bad idea. And
Right.
then you said, okay, I stopped building. We need another 280 mil. You know? Like, where's the, and Putin was like, where's that money going? You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to know where that money went at. Because all you got to do is follow the money. Salaki, let me see if I can find it real quick, because it's not a hard look.
That's crazy. That's like it's the Super Bowl, and you get in office and the opposite teams, you know, box or whatnot. You get to see all their plays. You videotape the plays, send it back.
Yeah, and they don't get nothing on you. They get to show up to your facility and see how y'all train. That's it.
They get to come visit y'all at halftime.
But then when they put it up on the news, they're anything Russia violated this rule. But that's what they do. They do semantics of laws.
Yeah.
And that's where, let's get that precept real quick when it says that they will not seek silver or gold. Okay?
This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver. And as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Yeah, man. So that area which is the Mediterranean, okay? You could say Afghanistan, but really Russia, they're not going to require no silver, no gold. None of these countries will, man. Okay? That's it. That's it to that, right?
Read more.
A little bit more.
It says, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces,
Yeah, those are the missiles, man. Okay.
and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb.
Yep, because once the missiles are launched and they land, they're not going to sit there and overpass children. They're not going to overpass old people. It's going to wipe out everybody in its path. Like they said, a bullet ain't got no name on it. That missile ain't got no name on it either, man. Only name it's going to have is Babylon. They don't care about no kids or nothing like that.
It says, their eyes shall not spare children. Yep, that's it too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm still looking for that portion, man. Yeah, I can't find it. I don't want to sit there and be staring at it. It's a long, because it's pretty much a discussion with all these countries, and it's just written out like they do in court, you know. So it's a hell of a read, to say the least. Okay, so let's get back into the article, and then we're gonna get that. Matter of fact, let's get back into finish Ezekiel 38 out to a good extent.
This is back in Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 5. It says, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarma of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them.
Yep. So pretty much, you know, you go break it down. I'm looking at this, but I don't want to get too distracted.
They named Persia, Libya, Ethiopia. All these are allies of Russia. You know, the S-500 missiles were given to Iran, which is current day Persia. Once Russia got the upgrade, so to speak, they just kicked their little brother. You know what I'm saying? The lesser missiles, but were still very capable missiles. And said to be a guard unto them. That's why they're not playing around with the ish people, you know, the JOOs about Iran. They weren't playing with America about Gaddafi. You know, so if there's any beef in the Middle East, I'll say, you're going to see America on one side, you're going to see Russia on the other side.
Okay, so let's continue on into that article, Baba Kushah. I'm still looking up, man. There are some big numbers they was playing around with that they try to just throw under the rug. And Jake be out here, we be getting taxed like hell up in this hellhole, man. For them to sit there and spend $8 billion on something and then do it 70% and say, oh, I forgot. That's not a good enough story. You know, that ain't a good enough story for the American citizens, all you patriots out there. You know?
Yeah, scripture say count the cost.
Yeah. And then which in all essence, I believe that they pretty much built their missiles and act like they was gonna build something else, and then just say, okay, we ain't gonna do it. We ain't got enough funding. We just gonna stop building. You know, that's what Putin was accusing him of doing. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't have the evidence, because clearly they're not gonna let you up in there like that.
Right. So as Russia is clearly breaking down missiles, they're building up missiles.
Yep, and anytime, that's why they be tripping on Iran with their rich uranium. That's why they trying to spy on making sure everybody else ain't building nothing, while they're keeping their stuff secret and they're building their weapons. And this is why they're not going to seek, the Russia and these other countries is not going to seek silver or gold, because they can't trust you in the beginning, from the get-go. You done broke. Hey, let's get that in Psalms. They broke this covenant. You know what I'm saying? Because they pretty much saying, well, y'all building these. Well, Russia saying they ain't gonna go with it, but they're saying Trump pretty much saying that they violated it, so we're not gonna re-sign this deal we made. You know? Yeah, but I'm not too like, deeply informed, but just trying to do the best I can as far as getting into the politics of it, Yeah, man, I wish I could find it, bro. Man, I seen them numbers. I said, good Lord, what happened to that bread?
Somebody got that precept?
How does it go? That scripture in Psalms that you were speaking about?
Psalms 55.
Okay. This is Psalms chapter 55 and verse 20. It says, "He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant."
Yeah, and that's what they're doing now. They've been breaking the covenant. The covenant was already one-sided, and then you're building missiles, you're sneaking and doing stuff, but you're they're being hypocrites, man. Okay, and tell everybody else that people got weapons of mass destruction, they're fighting for peace, but then they'll do things to incite that they're still trying to get the upper hand war-wise. Okay.
Yeah, that's like the JOOs. Every other country has declared, yes, we have nuclear capability, or no, we don't have nuclear capability. But their official stance is maybe we have them, maybe we don't.
Yep.
They change the rules for them.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Yep. So, I'm going to read this other part. This is a statement by Vyacheslav Nikonov. It says, "Good evening, Mr. President. You have said with good reason that now the situation is simpler than in years of the Cold War. I agree, but not everything is simpler. During the Cold War, there were certainly no West organized coups in Ukraine, and no U.S. and NATO military present in Eastern European countries, Poland and the Baltic states, which we consider U.S. and NATO and the European Union to be what? The beast that the whore rideth upon, which is the beast is NATO and the EU, and the whore that sits upon it is America. Okay, it shows how they're in conjunction. It says in the past few months, this military presence has been obviously mounting in blatant violation of the Russian NATO Founding Act. To what extent do you think this poses a strategic threat to the Russian Federation, and what may be the response?" You know what I'm saying? And like I said, bro, it's a lot that was said within this article, or really this discussion. Like I said, it's a discussion. I think I almost found that. I think I found it.
I mean, that's a mouthful that you just said right there. Because, the Baltic states, the Ukraine, those are all former Soviet Union countries. It's the equivalent of Russia being in Puerto Rico, a U.S., property, or Hawaii. It's right there. It's a U.S. territory. Just like the Baltic states, they belong to the USSR, and now they're right there on the doorstep, doing coups in those countries, putting their puppet leaders in those countries, turning them against the country that they used to be.
Yep. Setting up coups, setting up destruction from within, man, and breaking these people down. That's why a lot of these countries that they're in ops with, they send in agent provocateurs, man, or have puppets, so that way they can stir up madness, and then they can attack them from all sides, from within and without.
It's hard to fight a battle outside your country if you got a lot going on within your country.
Yep, that's how Rome fell. Shit. He couldn't fight. As soon as they leave, their soldiers is like, hell no, nigga, I'm Caesar. You know, like you can't go and have a war. You're one of your top generals. Keep doing that. You know.
Okay.
But let's get back to the article about Bashar.
Like the brother has stated, this is RT from earlier today. And he says, Friday marks 5 years since the termination of the INF Treaty signed by the Soviet Union and the U.S. in 1987. For a long time, the consequences of this step were overshadowed by other tensions in the international arena. Public attention was focused on different topics, and it seemed that post-INF issues interested only experts in the sphere itself. However, the 5th anniversary is being celebrated in a truly quote-unquote grand manner. The U.S. offered a quote-unquote gift to Russia by announcing plans to begin episodic deployments of its ground-launched missiles in Germany in 2026. Russia didn't slack on the matter. President Vladimir Putin responded that if these plans are implemented, Moscow will lift a unilateral moratorium on the deployment of its own intermediate range missiles. Russia.
Yeah, Holmes. So, remember we said that you couldn't have those short to medium range missiles, like 3,000 miles or so. So if you're setting those missiles up, they're right in the range of Russia, within 3,000 miles of Russia. So if they wanted to put a nuke on them, they're 3,000 miles, they can hit Russia and real quick, and there's nothing they can do about it. So they said if you're gonna set those up, then we're gonna stop destroying our own weapons, and we can build our own weapons up, and we can have shorter range weapons as well.
Yeah. When to make it a fight, we can make it a fight.
Kind of.
It says Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs did not rule out that these could be nuclear.
There you go.
Such an exchange of pleasantries signifies a new missile crisis that may surpass those of the 1970s and 80s that eventually led to the signing of the original treaty. At that time, the deployment of new nuclear missiles in Europe led to the deterioration of a Soviet-U.S. relations to their lowest point since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, because they were just building missiles on top of missiles on top of missiles, both sides. And now, with them trying to circumvent Russia, with their military bases, and Russia's just putting a hat on a hat. And now, if there's those short to intermediate range missiles on both sides, and both has nuclear weapons, then what can happen?
Yeah, and they don't want Russia to be able to defend themselves. That's why they're encamping them. That's why Ukraine is so key. That's why Libya, was it Libya or Syria? You know what I'm saying? They're pretty much Georgia, Russia. They was fucking with that for a hot little second. They're trying to encircle America, man. They're even trying to get into the China Sea. They've been arguing with them about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They was getting mad because China was building fake islands and shit. You know what I'm saying? And like, y'all can't do that. Like, nah, we can do what we want. Nigga, like, this is our sea. And they started arguing over whose sea was that. And then the Persian Gulf. They've been trying to circle these people for years, man. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't about, and they use it as propaganda for the sheep to watch on TV. Oh, the justice for Ukraine and all that. It's really, these people are trying to size these people up, man. They're posturing around.
Because even going back to Ukraine, he told them, don't try to recruit them into NATO. And America went right and did exactly what they said. And he came on TV and said that, look, this is why we doing this, because I told them not to do that, and they did exactly that.
Yeah, and that's a crime. They're breaking their agreement. You know what I'm saying? Because NATO is not supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's what's it, collusion, or where you go over there with the sports and they go over there and start talking. Agents start talking to a dude for his contract up and shit.
Yeah,
tampering. Yeah, tampering. Yeah, you tampering, man.
It says the issue was solved radically. By signing the INF Treaty, the U.S. and the USSR prohibited themselves from having any either nuclear or non-nuclear ground-launched missiles with a range of 500 to 5,500 kilometers.
Yeah, did we get that, Joe?
We did not.
Yeah, we gotta get that joke, because them ground-launched missiles, not only them Tomahawks and all that, but the missiles that go in them silos, man, them intercontinental ballistic missiles, that will remind me of that. It may not be specified to that, but like the brother said, he said it himself, that's the first thing come to mind, man, is those missile silos, because those missile silos that's in them grounds is ready, man. Yeah. Them things can make it over here, and especially they got missiles that can make it over here like in 30 minutes, man. You know, I was watching a video, it had like two dudes fishing, and it was like in the ocean, like, you know, on the coast, and they just seen it. You could just see a rocket go right past them, hovering above the water, man. Crazy. That Jones flying too. That's got to be something to see. You fishing, you see something just go woof, and you can hear it.
Right. Feel the heat from it.
Mm-hmm. Fucked up all your fish.
Blazing speed.
Job chapter 20 and verse 24. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through.
Yeah, that's the missiles. Okay.
It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall.
Yeah, and that's that glittering sword coming out of the gall, and that body is the silos, man. The holes in the ground, the when that open up the ground and the missiles come out the ground. That's what that is, man. Okay.
Terrors are upon him.
Yep. So, yeah, they're trying to regulate that. They're trying to regulate Tomahawk. They're trying to regulate the missiles that you can just fire off at a split second, that you can't put on a plane and fly it over here like Fat Man and Lil Baby. You know, that takes hours. You know, get on a plane and fly to Russia. That's a 15-hour ride, man. But you talking about a missile that can get over here in 30 minutes, that's a big difference on response time. You know?
It says, back into the article, it says, at that time, the deployment of new nuclear missiles in Europe led to the deterioration of the Soviet-U.S. relations. Oh, Slovakia, going down. Okay. It says, from a military strategic point of view, this put the U.S. in a more advantageous position. Firstly, the USSR eliminated twice as many rockets, 1,846 compared to 846 by the U.S. Secondly, air and sea launched missiles of similar range, the United States' key instrument of power projection, were not included in the agreement.
So they could keep their air, but Russia had to break theirs down. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't have no water. Y'all got water. Like, no, bro. Like, it's supposed to be, but that's why they call it unilateral disarmament, because it's not equal. Okay?
Yeah. Where you're strong at, you can stay strong. But where I'm strong at, we can't play that game.
Yeah.
I got all wide receivers, and we can't throw the ball past 10 yards.
Yeah. You can't throw the, you can't scout route, you can't scout no pass blocking lineman, you know, when you scout running. You know, like they're setting it up to where you can't win. But they're saying we're giving them opportunity.
Exactly.
And they're worded in that way.
Yep.
You know?
And that's exactly how the devil rolls, man.
That's why they're not going to regard silver or gold, because there's no deal that's worth it with you. Yep. It's always, and they're so arrogant. And like even Putin was arguing, like, y'all fucking with Korea, like, why y'all trying to back these people into a corner and bully them? Like, why don't y'all use some decent politics with these people? You know what I'm saying? Like, these people are devils, and then they'll paint Korea like y'all talking about how these people living like they ain't a whole different country. You know what I'm saying? They're communists, those damn commies. You know, it's like, bro, these people, let them people live. You know what I'm saying? That's how they're running. Europe's a monarchy. You know? Like, they ain't got nothing to do with no democracy. That's the exact opposite. That's a bloodline rulership. You know? But you sit there and want to talk about shit about communists because you trying to paint an enemy, man.
Exactly. It said the Soviet leadership consented to such conditions in large part due to political reasons. Back then, the Kremlin believed that Soviet-U.S. relations would eventually reach a new level and weapons would no longer play a key role in ensuring security.
That's not the Lord's will, because the Lord said he got an army. Okay? Was that? Let's get that in Revelations. He has his army. And the army's a portion of that army. When in Revelation, those are his missiles. Okay? And the missiles going to be shot, man. Okay? So even though Russia wanted to take the low in hopes that, okay, well, maybe if we play nice, eventually America would be like, okay, they ain't tripping, so let us stop tripping. Nah, the devil got worse, man. And then they had to keep making missiles like, man, these dudes ain't stopping, bro. I'm not going to let you. You telling me I can't lift weights. I see you pumping iron in the back. What you pumping iron for, bro? Like, what you getting strong for? Like, I thought we weren't beefing no more.
Yeah.
You told me it's all good. No, I'm about to start doing some push-ups. I might not got no weights, but I'm about to start doing push-ups. You know? And you watching me. That's enough push-ups. 5 for the day.
Yeah. No more than 10 push-ups a day.
You know? Hell with that, man. You guys got a new workout facility. You built it up 70%. Then you stop doing it. No, nigga.
Got trainers coming through.
State of the art.
Nutritionists.
Yeah. Talking about it ain't done. It's like, nah, nigga, 70% is good enough. You know? You download a video game, you can start playing it around 70%. You can run a session on that, John, 70%. You go ahead, brother. Somebody, one of y'all have something?
I was just looking for that.
Revelation. Y'all know that the revelation of the 2 million missiles, man. Come on now.
100,000.
Yeah.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 9, and verse 16. Go to 15. Revelation 9, verse 15, it says, "And the 4 angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them."
Yeah, and that number, that them horsemen is talking about those missiles, man. You go ahead, brother.
"And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth, and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions."
Yeah, because those lions devour, man. You know, they will tear up everything in their path, man. Okay?
"And out of their mouths issued fire and brimstone." Out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone.
Yeah. You know, that's because the nuclear missiles components is going to be, because it's lighting the air on fire, man. You know, it's pretty much, like they say, the atom bombs is just bumping atoms, it's making the air literally ignite on fire. Okay? And it's going, earth and ashes, man. You know? Gonna light all that up.
"By these 3 was the third part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths."
Yeah, and the third part of men, the sons of the wicked, man, which is Esau. You got the sons of the Most High, sons of man, and sons of the wicked. The third part of man and sons of the wicked, that's Esau. In all reality, Babylon. But all Edomites going to be rounded up, but the bulk of the third part of man is going to be over here in America, man. Okay?
"For their power is in their mouth and in their tails."
Yeah, the tails is what get them over here, man. Okay? And the power in their mouth is not just talking about the missile, it's just the style of the nuclear warhead. It'll split off. It got decoys, because it's not like once it get into that atmosphere, the bodies pop off, and when it get into that atmosphere, it'll break off and it drops down into different, like that one warhead turned to hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of different nuclear warheads that are sprinkled all across America, which is going to turn into a lake of fire. And you're talking about 200,000, you're talking about millions, right? Hitting this earth, hitting the U.S. of A. It's going to turn into a lake of fire, man. That's the lake of fire the Bible speaks of. Okay?
It says, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt.
Yeah. It's going to do a lot of hurt to this place. It's going to do, let's get that, the earth shall wheel to and fro like a drunkard, man. You know? There's the whole globe is going to shake, man. You know? Get the brother was talking about, the elder apostle, I believe, talking about how, like, you know, it's going to be a whole lot of cleaning up going on, man. You know, atmospheric cleanup. You know, because that's a solar winter that can happen. I mean, a nuclear winter that can happen from that, man. You know, that's why the earth is really going to be refurbished, because a lot of that nuclear fallout and all that, that's going to be cleaned up. These bodies are going to get cleaned up. Okay, we're going to spend the bulk of the time getting the earth back to normal, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, when I say me, I mean, when I say we talking about them heathens, and okay, so with the spiritual power, we're gonna be able to, you know, because the waters will become bitter. You know, you can't just drink that water after you blow a nuclear bomb in it.
Because when we read that Job, I had looked into where it said the gall, because I'll read it again in Job 20:25. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yeah, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. When you look into that gall, it says bitter thing, gall, poison, poison, venom, bitter thing, bitterness. So I'm thinking like that, you know, like the nuclear fallout and that radiation, if that's, you know, related to that too, because that's what's going to happen. You know, that's
that
exactly
fallout is
come with it.
going to, yeah, because you're going to, you know, that the sun and the moon shall not shine because of the nuclear fallout, man. You ain't going to see no stars and all that. You know, we just had a bad storm 2 or 3 days ago, man. It went from sunny and then it just got dark. No light, no nothing, man. It felt like midnight. You know what I'm saying? In a split second, man. You know?
I got that scripture, Isaiah chapter 24, verse 20. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage. And the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again.
Yep. So yeah, Esau ain't coming back. He ain't, you know, but the earth abided forever. Let's get that squared away. You know, the Lord ain't gonna just blow this planet up and ain't gonna be no more. No, earth abided forever. But these missiles are gonna hit and shake this whole planet up, man. You can imagine earthquakes, tsunamis, tidal waves, all kind of chaos is gonna come from them nuclear missiles dropping, man. That's from one, it'll shake the earth. You talking about millions, you know? That's gonna do some damage, man. You know? Probably create a fucking crater out this world, you know? Shift lands. You know, America probably bump up, Africa probably bump up to get more land and shit. For pushing, because it's always one continent, you know.
Push it back together.
Yeah, man. Probably reform continents, man.
Ecclesiastes 1:4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever.
Yeah, so you got to put 2 and 2 together, okay? But that should be it, man. You know, is that into that article? It should be have probably a little bit more, but
we read a little bit more earlier.
I just want to stop when they get to the China area, but because they even involved in China, and if China's busting moves and they getting mad at China because China ain't in the treaty. China like, I do what I want. You know?
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, man. So hopefully that was edifying, man. So, with that being said, we're going to give all praises unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Achakadash.
I say double honors to our apostles who are elders who do well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. Shalom.
No,
Shalom.